Okay, August 10th. A couple things happened today. The first is that in 1846, President James K. Polk signed the Smithsonian Institution Act, creating the Smithsonian Institute, which today is 28 different museums throughout Washington, D.C. area. So that happened today in 1846. The interesting thing about Polk is that it's the oldest known photograph of a president is a picture of James Polk. So the other thing that happened today was that in 1874, happy birthday Herbert Hoover. So Herbert Hoover was born in Iowa in 1874. He's one of only two presidents that were Quakers. So Herbert Hoover and Richard Nixon are the only two presidents that we've had that were Quakers. Hoover went on to become a very successful mining engineer. He attended the University of Stanford. Some people say he was the first student at the University of Stanford because he was in the first class and he got there early and stayed in the dorms a night earlier than anybody else. And so that he was the first student at the University of Stanford. He's probably the wealthiest president that we've had that was self-made. He made his fortune in mining, and again, he was considered one of the foremost mining engineers in the world. And then came back and became president in 1928. Unfortunately, stock market crash, Great Depression. Hoover felt like the government really shouldn't do anything, that the markets would sort it out. And so he really was not very active in trying to do anything to resolve it. And then in 32, then FDR wins, and then FDR had a series of programs. But so that was Herbert Hoover. An interesting story about Herbert Hoover is when he was at Stanford, he was the manager of the baseball team. And President Benjamin Harrison was traveling out there because President Harrison was friends with Leland Stanford, the man who created Stanford University. And Benjamin Harrison walked onto the field to watch a baseball game without paying his ticket price. So the baseball manager, Herbert Hoover, had to chase him down and get his 10 cents or nickel or whatever it was at the time. So he got to meet President Benjamin Harrison. So just an interesting little tidbit. So anyway, that's August 10th. That's what I have for you today. I'll see you tomorrow.